Well, obviously it's a quick turnaround. I mean, it seems like we've just had a bunch of this Saturday, Tuesday stuff. Very not very many Wednesday games, and it does put a rush on everything when you're trying to do your prep and give your guys some time off. And in late February, trying to stay as fresh as you can is probably as important or more important than practice itself, because guys get worn down with all the demands at this level. And when you do practice, you got to try and keep it as short as you can. Knock on wood, we have been okay in terms of serious injuries. We're a little beat up now. We got some nicks and knacks, and nothing that'll keep guys from playing, but they're irritants. They're hard on you as a player. They're hard on you physically and hard on you mentally. But all that being said, in comes UNLV, who just comes off a really nice win where they played really good basketball at New Mexico. And New Mexico's going through a tough stretch right now, but you still got to go into the pit and beat them, and that's not an easy thing to do in front of 15,000, sold out every game, all that sort of thing. So, they lost a real good player. UNLV did, you're probably all aware, and to injury, but they seem to have adjusted pretty well. They've got a lot of talent, and they're long, they're athletic, they shoot the ball really well. Trying to guard them is going to be similar to the challenges we had trying to guard Fresno, and we were up against it every possession trying to guard Fresno State. That's what you look at with UNLV, with Wood inside and McCaw on the perimeter, and they just got a whole bunch of different guys that can hurt you. They're shooting the ball really well from three, and I think they feel like that they're playing some of their best basketball right now.
Any questions?
Do you have any further reflections on 400 wins now, Coach, after kind of hit you Saturday night and whatever?
I didn't like my quote in the paper. My wife showed me that. I don't know why I talk about getting old so much. I've been talking about getting old since I was 30. So I guess it's now that it's creeping up on me, and maybe it's more prevalent in my mind. I feel very fortunate. As I look at this profession and all the things that go on in this profession, that's mostly what comes to mind. Is I feel very fortunate to have done it as long as I've done it, to have had as many good players as I've had and good assistant coaches, to have coached at 3 really fine universities, and to be able to walk away on my own terms. Not a lot of guys get to say all those things, so I feel like it's been a really, really good ride.
Julian, you talk about guys getting tired or more, whatever. He seems to have hit better offensive stretch lately as a freshman, where he kind of had that lull early, and then he kind of got another one a little bit after he had a hot start in the conference play. Now he seems to be playing really well offensively.
It's interesting because you talk about freshman fade with your freshmen every year. The season gets really long for kids that are used to the high school season, and you're playing 20 games or whatever you play, and you don't start till November, and you're done in February, or it's a much shorter season anyway, and you're always worried about those kids just mentally and physically getting worn down and just kind of checking out because they've had it. They don't have any more to give you. I don't worry about that with him. I don't. I gave that spiel the other day, and I don't think he thought I was talking about him. I hope he didn't, because I wasn't. He's been great from day one in terms of attitude, effort, trying to do everything he can to help our team. When he went through some tough spells offensively, not give in, not lose his confidence and think he can't play. And he's mom and dad can be pretty proud of that kid. He's someone asked me about him down in Salt Lake last week, and I said, "You got a daughter?" you better hope that she marries someone like him, because that's a good solid kid, and we got a bunch of them. But when you ask me about him, that's what I think of, and certainly it's been. I mean, he goes 7 for 8 in that game, and I knew he was playing well. I didn't know he was playing that well until I saw the stats afterwards. I mean, and we needed every one of them. We needed to play well offensively, or we weren't going to win that game. And we had a lot of guys have good nights, and certainly his was as important as anybody.
Is he still your outside guy that you put on the best outside guy on the other side?
Most of the time, unless it's just a matchup that doesn't work. Sometimes, a guy can be a point guard, and it really doesn't make sense to put Julian on him. But in terms of wings, and it seems like every game there's a really good wing in our league. Now he's got the challenge. He tried to do the best he could guarding Marvell Harris and did a pretty solid job. Now he turns around, he's got to guard McCaw, who's one of the most highly recruited freshmen in the country. So that's what you get in the Mountain West. You get good players night in and night out.
Does it help having, with the short turnaround, does it help having played Fresno State and then now playing UNLV when there are some similarities with the way they play?
I don't think that's a big factor, Sean. Everybody, even though they might have a similar style in some respects, I mean, their offenses aren't the same. They'll throw some different defensive looks at you. Like I say, when you get to this point in the year, and I think I was doing practice 79 today, and the most I remember getting to is somewhere in the mid-90s. It's practice is a grind, quite honestly. I don't think they would say it much differently. We try and make it as short and as competitive as we can, but practice can be a grind when you've been out there, for 5 months. So our guys seem to be in good spirits. It helps when you've won a few games in a row like we have, and we've got to take that to the court. We got to stay upbeat, and the positive thing for our team right now is I told them before the game the other night, doesn't look like you're going to finish 10th. So that's where you were picked, and doesn't look like you're going to finish 10th. And I've been on them all year to prove they were better than that. And even if we don't win another game, we're probably not going to finish 10th. So like to win some more, but they can feel pretty dang positive about what they've done to this point, and keep trying to do some more things.
With as competitive as you was at UNLV, that has to help with confidence, do you think?
Yeah, I think you watch the first half of that game and you say, well, why do you think you should have won that game? Us being us, Utah State, because we were up against it the first half. We were struggling to just hang in there. And then you watch the second half, and you think you should have won. So, it was one of those kind of games. When it was all over, you felt like you let one get away, and yet I'm sure they felt like they earned one, found a way to win it. That's the nature of competition. But we played well that night offensively, and they are a challenge to guard. So that's what we're facing.
I mean, with them, it looks like that the Kendrick guy has kind of picked up besides McCall.
Yeah, he's really shooting the ball well. Kendrick's, I think made 5 of his last 7 3-pointers. He's a guy that originally you thought was more of a driver than a shooter. Well, you can't say that right now because he's knocking in threes. I mean, they're shooting a high percentage right there with us at the top of the league in terms of 3-point field goal percentage. And in terms of how many they make every game. So, you're looking at having to worry about them inside because they're so long and skilled and big and athletic and all of those things. So you got to try and guard them inside. But that's a double-edged sword because they got guys from the perimeter that can really shoot it. It helps when you can, guard guys inside and not have to worry so much about the whole floor, the perimeter shooting, they make it tough because they can score inside and they can make threes.
Another guy who scored better lately is Okanobo, the Goodluck guy. I mean,
Yeah, he played
was-
really well against New Mexico. Watching their last game, I mean, they went to him hard and inside, and he scored it a bunch for them. So I think what's happened is, they lost Vaughn, and he's whatever he is, a top 10 recruit in the country. People think he's possibly leaving after this year, and an NBA guy, first round pick, all that, and some other guys stepped up. I mean, yeah, he's a really good player, but they've got a lot of talent. Some other guys said, okay, well, he's not around, I got to do more, and I have the ability to do more, and that's what's happened with him.
Coach, after the game when Al was talking to Darius, it was funny because he said you won 4 in a row. Oh, I didn't know that. This team really seems focused on what they're doing. Can you comment to that effect?
Yeah, I mean they've. I mean, I keep saying it. They've been great. They've just been. They've been in terms of their work habits, in terms of their mental focus. They've tried to give you everything they got. I mean, it's been I'll always be able to say this was a really good group to finish with as a head coach, because you like having kids that will try and figure out what you're doing game plan wise, try and practice hard, even though practice gets old and we're not always perfect. That will try and focus in on the next game and not worry about something that didn't go right last game, or who we're playing 2 games from now. They've been really good about those things. I think when you're so new, like we are, with so many guys who have no Division I experience, that it really helps if you trust what you're being told. And if what you're being told works once in a while, it helps you to trust it. So I think they've, we've had, I keep saying it's kind of funny that I was talking to the Salt Lake group and we were 14, 10, 7, and 5, and I told them how pleased I was. And I said, there's been years where I probably wouldn't have said that with those number of wins, but you got to look at the circumstances and everything else, and it's been just a great group that way, trying to trust in what we're telling them, trying to do what we're telling them, and getting better as they go. All that was kind of our whole thing. Let's just try and keep getting better. Let's get better as we go. I mean, one of my assistants overheard the kids talking about our exhibition games when we barely won, and they were like, "Whoa, we're wondering if we're going to be able to win any games," So it's, I think it's been rewarding to them. I think they're a little bit proud of themselves, and you need to be. You need to be in athletics sometimes. You don't need to always be thinking you're not doing good enough, and you need to feel good about yourself. I think that's really important. That's a lot of talking, guys. This is a challenging day for me on Mondays because I have to come talk to you, and I talk for, what do we talk? I talk for 15 minutes. And I got to go in there and talk for 30 minutes, and then I got to go to practice and talk for an hour and a half, and film session 45 minutes before that. Then I got to go talk to Lou for an hour on the radio show. When I get home, Vicki better not ask me anything, because I probably won't even answer. Talked out.